Love doesn't have borders, limits, or guarantees. But sometimes, love isn't broken by strangers. It's hurt by the people we trust the most, our family. In the shining, noisy city of New Delhi, something dark was building. Behind the happy faces on 90 Day Fiancé, the cameras didn't show the tears, the silence, and the fights that would change everything. Jenny Sladden and her husband Sumit Singh had been dealing with family problems for a long time. The tension grew worse when Sumit's mother made false claims. She said Jenny was misbehaving and had even attacked her when Sumit wasn't home. Furious, Sumit's mother told him, "If you don't divorce Jenny, you are no longer my son. I can't accept you as my child anymore." Hearing this, Sumit was heartbroken. He knew the only way to find peace was to leave it all behind. So Jenny and Sumit made a hard choice. They sold everything they owned, including their home, for $2 million. Then they decided to leave India forever and move to Canada. They also told everyone they were done with the 90 Day Fiancé show and would not appear on TLC anymore. Sumit sold all their belongings, and the couple started a new life in Canada. This is not just a TV story. It's a real story of pain, of love's final test, and of two people who chose peace over everything else. At first, life in Canada felt perfect. After so many years of rejection and judgment, Jenny and Sumit finally had the quiet life they dreamed of. Their cozy home in Nida was full of light, laughter, and the smell of morning chai. Jenny would water the plants on the balcony, while Sumit smiled reading kind fan messages online. Someone wrote, "They're my favorite couple." Jenny laughed and said, "See, people understand us now." Sumit smiled back. For a while, love won. It won over secrets, lies, and shame. They had earned this happiness. But peace can be fragile. Sumit's mother, Sana Singh, never truly accepted Jenny. Her anger was quiet for a time, but it returned through whispers and gossip. Family members stopped answering calls. Rumors started spreading through the family group chat. One night, Sumit's cousin called in a panic. "Auntie is saying Jenny insulted her, even hit her." Jenny was shocked. That's not true. But lies travel faster than truth. Within days, the family turned cold. She changed him. She controls him. He never comes home anymore. Sumit felt stuck between two worlds, his love for Jenny and his duty to his mother. Then, one message changed everything. "I want to see you. Come home alone." Jenny was scared. "Don't go if she's going to hurt you again." Sumit said, "I have to. She's still my mother." As he left, Jenny stood at the door, not knowing that this visit would test everything. Every love story begins with trust. But sometimes, trust isn't broken by cheating, it's tested by family. Love can be a quiet rebellion against a world that doesn't understand. But even the strongest hearts shake when they face the people who raised them. Sumit stood at the door of his childhood home, a house he once entered as a hopeful boy. Now he was a man torn between love and loyalty. His mother, Sana Singh, sat stiff on the sofa, her eyes full of judgment. His father hid behind a newspaper, pretending not to notice. "Sit," Sana said. He sat down. "I've heard what people are saying," she said bitterly. "My son married a woman older than me, and now she insults me in my own house." "Mom, that's not true," Sumit said. "Jenny would never." "Don't defend her," Sana interrupted. "Rohini saw everything." "Rohini wasn't even there," Sumit replied. Sana's voice rose with anger and pain. "You've shamed this family. Neighbors gossip. Relatives laugh. And you call me a liar?" "Mom, please," he said. "Jenny respects you. She's tried so hard to fit in." "Then she should stay away from me," Sana snapped. Back at home, Jenny sat by the window, her heart pounding. She had done everything, learned the language, cooked Indian food, followed every tradition. But it was never enough. "Why does she hate me?" she whispered. At the house, Sumit's voice trembled. "Please stop spreading lies. You're hurting us." "Us?" Sana said coldly. "There is no us anymore. If you don't divorce her, you're no longer my son." The words hit hard. Sumit stood up. "Then maybe I don't belong here anymore. I love you, Mom, but I can't hurt the woman who's only ever loved me." "Sumit Singh," she cried, "if you leave, don't come back." He walked out. The door slammed shut. A family broke in that moment. When he got home, Jenny ran to him. What happened? He could barely speak. She said I'm no longer her son. Jenny held his face. She'll never forgive us. Then maybe it's time to leave, she said. We can't win this fight. Thunder rolled outside. They sat in silence, holding hands, knowing the truth. Their love had survived so much. But now, family was pulling it apart. By morning, the rumors had spread everywhere. A Facebook post said Jenny had hit her mother-in-law. It went viral on blogs, news sites, and social media. Jenny's hands shook as she read the lies. They're destroying me, she said. They don't care about truth, Sumit said. They just want drama. Outside, neighbors whispered, that's them. The 90-day couple. The American woman who hit her mother-in-law. At their door, someone left a note. Foreigners bring shame, not love. Leave before it's too late. Jenny cried. I can't live like this. Sumit was angry. I'll make her stop. She'll never stop, Jenny said. I'll face her myself. Jenny went to Sanaa's house and stood strong. Why are you doing this? I've never disrespected you. You disrespected our culture the day you married my son, Sanaa said coldly. I love him. Isn't that enough? Jenny asked. Love doesn't erase shame, Sanaa replied. Better my pride than my blood. She slammed the door. Jenny walked away alone under the streetlights, broken but not defeated. That night, everything changed. Words became weapons. Rumors became truth. A love once celebrated was now under attack. Jenny and Sumit had fought the world to be together. But now their biggest fight was not for love. It was for survival. When lies are told loudly, truth becomes invisible. What started as gossip had become headlines. And for Jenny, every word was a deeper wound. The next morning, Sumit sat at the table, newspapers open, his phone buzzing. The false stories were everywhere. Blogs, social media, even the news. Jenny came in quietly with a cup of tea. Are they still talking about it? Yes, he said. They're even saying the police might get involved. Jenny froze. Police? Why? We didn't do anything. I know, Sumit said, frustration in his voice. But someone filed an anonymous complaint. Jenny's eyes widened. A complaint. Yes. And now everything was at risk. Who did this? She stopped. They both already knew. Sumit nodded slowly. It has to be Ma. No one else would go that far. In India, even a rumor can start a case. In a culture where family honor is more important than proof, the truth is often the first thing lost. The report said that Jenny had verbally and physically attacked her mother-in-law during an argument. It even included fake witness statements. Neighbors said they heard yelling. None of it was true, but it didn't matter. The damage was already done. Jenny finally spoke, her voice shaking. She's really trying to ruin me, Sumit. This isn't just gossip anymore. This could destroy our lives. Sumit ran his hands through his hair and started pacing. I'll handle it. I'll go to the police station and explain everything. Jenny looked at him, tears in her eyes. And what are you going to say? That your own mother is lying? He didn't answer. His silence said it all. Jenny stood up, filled with emotion. She's your mother, Sumit. I get that. But what about me? What about us? You can't keep letting her do this. Sumit turned to her. His eyes were full of pain. Do you think this is easy for me? I'm trying to protect both of you. Protect me? Jenny said through tears. By doing nothing? Her voice cracked as she stepped closer. I've spent years trying to prove myself. To her. To your family. To this whole country. And still, they treat me like I'm the villain. Sumit's shoulders dropped. He wanted to say something, but no words came. For the first time in a long time, Jenny walked away, not because she was angry, but because she was tired. Rohit called in a panic. Things are getting out of control. Ma's video is going viral. She's giving interviews now, saying she was insulted and attacked. Sumit clenched his jaw. Interviews? What interviews? Rohit sighed. A local YouTube channel came to the house. She told them you've changed. That Jenny controls you. The video is getting thousands of views. Sumit leaned against the wall, his phone shaking in his hand. She's destroying us in public now, Rohit. This isn't about family anymore. This is revenge. On the video, Sanaa spoke to the reporter with tears in her eyes. I don't hate my son, she said, but he's forgotten who he is. That woman from America changed him. She doesn't respect our culture, our traditions, or me as his mother. I just want my son back. The reporter nodded seriously, clearly feeling sorry for her. Jenny's hands trembled as she turned off the video. She's acting like the victim now, she whispered. And everyone believes her. Sumit sat beside her quietly. Let them talk. The truth will come out. Jenny looked at him, heartbroken. When, Sumit? When it's too late. Sometimes silence says more than words. For Jenny, the silence meant defeat. For Sumit, it meant guilt. They didn't know how to win anymore. Jenny spoke softly, mostly to herself. I think your mother wants me gone. Not just out of your life, but out of this country. Sumit looked up, sadness in his eyes. Maybe that's what she wants. But she'll never get it. Jenny shook her head. She already has, Sumit. She's taken everything. Our peace, our reputation, our happiness. Sumit reached for her hand. We'll get through this, Jenny. She looked at him for a long moment. And if we don't? He didn't answer. The question hung in the air like a knife. Jenny pulled her hand away slowly. Maybe it's time to think about leaving. Sumit stood still. Leaving India? Jenny nodded. Yes. Maybe we start over somewhere else. Somewhere people don't judge us every day. He didn't respond, but for the first time, he didn't say no either. Jenny stood behind him in silence, watching. The idea that once felt impossible now seemed like their only hope. When home becomes a battlefield, love has to find a new place to survive. But leaving India meant leaving everything behind. Family, memories, identity. For Sumit, that was hard to imagine. For Jenny, it felt necessary. And soon, they would have to make the choice that would change their lives forever. Sometimes, the loudest lies push you toward the quietest truth. Peace isn't where you're born, it's where you choose to build it. Every love story has a moment when silence becomes the loudest cry for help. For Jenny and Sumit, that moment had arrived. Sumit hung up the phone slowly and turned to Jenny. That was the police, he said quietly. They're coming tomorrow. Just to ask a few questions. Jenny looked up, scared. Ask questions about what? I didn't do anything. I know, he said quickly, trying to calm her. They just want to hear our side. It's standard. Jenny's voice shook. Standard? For a crime that never happened? Sumit, this is crazy. Sumit took a deep breath and sat down beside her. I'll handle it. Just tell them the truth. That's all we can do. Jenny stared at the floor, barely able to speak. I'm scared, Sumit. Not of the police, of your mother. She won't stop until I'm gone. Sumit tried to hold her hand, but she pulled away. Jenny, no. Please listen to me. Her voice was firm now. I've stayed quiet too long. I've tried to be kind. I've tried to fit in. But your mother keeps crossing the line. I can't live like this anymore. There was a knock at the door. Jenny opened it nervously. Mrs. Slatton? One officer asked. Jenny nodded. Yes, that's me. We're here about a complaint filed by Mrs. Sanaa Singh. It says you verbally and physically abused her. We just want to ask a few questions. Sumit stepped forward quickly. Sir, those accusations are false. My wife never hurt anyone. The officer nodded. We understand, Mr. Singh. We just need both sides for the report. Jenny sat down across from them, holding back tears. Her voice trembled as she spoke. Yes, she and her mother-in-law had arguments, but never violence. She had always tried to show respect, even when she didn't get any back. The officers listened, wrote everything down, and finally stood up. Thank you for your time, one of them said. For now, we'll close this as a family matter. When they left, Jenny broke down crying. Sumit held her in his arms. It's over, Jenny. It's okay now. But Jenny shook her head. No, it's not. She won't stop. She's already ruined our reputation. Now she's called the police. What's next? Sumit didn't answer. Outside, the neighbors watched from behind their curtains as the officers left. Soon, the whispers began again. Why, Ma? Sumit asked later, his voice shaking. Why did you do this? Why lie to the police? Sanaa looked at him calmly. Because I'm saving you, Sumit. From her. Saving me? You humiliated me. You reported my wife to the police. Sana slammed her cup down. That woman is not your wife to me. She's the reason you turned against your own family. You were a good son once. Now look at you, defending a stranger over your own blood. She's not a stranger, Sumit shouted. She's my wife. She's my life. Sana raised her voice. Then go. Live your life with her. Don't ever come back here. Sumit's father tried to calm them. Enough. Both of you. This has gone too far. But it was too late. The words had already hurt too deeply. Sumit pointed at the door. Fine, Ma. If that's what you want, I'll go. But one day you'll regret this, because all you're doing is breaking your own family. He turned to leave. Sana's final words echoed behind him like thunder. Go then, Sumit sang. From now on, you are no longer my son. Some moments in life ask for everything, even the family ties that once held you close. For Sumit, this was that moment. He realized he couldn't have both his mother's love and his wife's truth. When Sumit got home, Jenny ran to him. Where were you? I was so worried. He looked exhausted. It's done. She said I'm no longer her son. Jenny froze. Oh, Sumit. He sat down, tired. I thought I could fix it. But I can't. She'll never change. Jenny knelt beside him and held his hand. Then maybe it's time we change everything else. Sumit looked at her, confused. What do you mean? She took a deep breath. Let's sell the house, the cafe, everything. Let's leave India for good. You said you wanted peace. Maybe this is how we find it. Sumit stared at her, not speaking. The words felt unreal, but somehow a strange calm filled him. Leaving India meant giving up family, friends, and everything he had known. But staying meant losing Jenny, and maybe even losing himself. He closed his eyes and whispered, okay. Jenny looked at him, her eyes full of tears. You mean it? He nodded slowly. I mean it. When love is tested, it doesn't always end in a win. Sometimes it ends in letting go, not in defeat, but in search of peace. That night, Jenny and Sumit made the hardest decision of their lives. They would sell everything they had built in India. They would leave behind the pain, the judgment, and the broken family ties. They would start again, far away from the noise, the gossip, and the past. Every ending begins in silence. And in that silence, they found the strength to begin again. But secrets always come out. And for Jenny and Sumit, the truth didn't stay private. Their plan to leave and start fresh leaked overnight. Jenny's eyes widened as she read an article. Sumit, how did they find out? He read over her shoulder. Shock turned to anger. The article quoted an unnamed family member saying the couple was running away to escape consequences. Sumit shut the laptop hard. It's Ma. Who else would do this? Jenny's voice shook. She's still trying to destroy us. What if people come here? He gently touched her shoulder. Let them talk. We're not running, we're moving forward. But Jenny saw how tired he was. Outside, neighbors whispered. They think they can just leave after everything. I heard she hit his mother. They're running to Canada. Jenny looked out the window, her face pale. They're outside again. Ignore them, Sumit said, his jaw tight. They think they know the truth, she whispered. And that's enough to ruin us. Later that day, their agent came by. So, you're sure you want to sell? The market's strong. But once word spreads, Jenny cut in softly. It already has. The agent nodded. Your property could sell for $2 million, maybe more with the cafe. Sumit nodded. Sell it all. We'll take what's fair. Jenny looked at her wedding ring. We built this with love. Every corner holds a memory. Sumit smiled gently. Then we'll build new memories. She laughed a little. You burned the curry again. You said spicy, not on fire. Sumit, leaving home isn't just about selling walls. It's about saying goodbye to the life inside them. That evening, a reporter appeared at their gate. Mr. Singh, Mrs. Slatton, is it true you're leaving India for good? No comment, Sumit said firmly. Is it because of the accusations? Jenny's voice cracked. We're leaving for peace, not because we're guilty. Inside, she whispered, I never thought love could feel this heavy. He wiped her tears. Love isn't heavy, Jenny. The world makes it so. She smiled a little. You still sound like the man I fell for. And I still am, he said quietly. Just tired of proving it. When the sale was done, the buyer shook Sumit's hand. Good luck, brother. Maybe Canada is where your story begins again. Jenny looked around their empty house. So many memories. Sumit nodded. And more to come. They stepped outside as the cafe door closed behind them. Jenny whispered, "We fought the world for this love. And somehow we're still fighting." Sumit placed a photo into a box. "If love were easy, it wouldn't be ours. Do you think we'll be happy there?" She asked. "Happiness isn't a place," he said softly. "It's being together without fear." Jenny smiled through tears. "Then we'll be happy. Love doesn't survive because it's perfect. It survives because two people don't give up, even when the world already has. Every goodbye holds a heartbeat, a last echo of what once was." As Jenny and Sumit signed the final papers, they weren't just leaving a house. They were letting go of years of pain and choosing hope. Jenny looked at him quietly. "Once we land in Canada, no cameras, no interviews, no drama. Just us." Sumit nodded. "Just us." They stepped into the sunlight hand in hand as the moving truck pulled away behind them. The world had treated their love like entertainment. But behind the headlines was something real. Two hearts who had lost everything except each other. And sometimes that's enough. Every decision has a price. For Sumit Singh, the price of peace was his family. But before they could leave everything behind, destiny gave them one last test. Sumit zipped the final suitcase inside. "That's it." Jenny looked around. "I still can't believe this is happening. After everything, we're really leaving." Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. He froze. It was his mom. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "Sumit, I want to see you one last time." "Ma, please not now." "Now," she insisted. "If you ever respected me, come." Jenny looked worried. "What did she say?" "She wants to see me one last time." "Do you think that's a good idea?" "She's still my mother," he said quietly. "I have to go." Jenny took his hand. "Then we go together." At the Singh home, the air felt heavy. Sanaa sat stiffly on the couch. Anil stood by the window, quiet. "Sit," Sanaa said coldly. "So it's true. You're leaving India." "Yes," Sumit said. "We've made our choice." "You're running away," she said. Jenny took a calm breath. "We're not running. We just want peace." "Peace?" Sanaa snapped. "You destroyed peace the day you entered his life." "Ma, stop," Sumit said, raising his voice. "Enough." But she went on, her voice shaking. "You think leaving will hide your shame. People will never forget what you did." "I did nothing wrong," he said. "I chose love. That's not a crime." Her eyes filled with tears. "Love? What about duty? What about your parents? You owe us everything." "I know, Ma," he said gently. "But I can't give up the woman I love just to keep you proud." Sanaa looked at Jenny, her voice sharp. "Do you know what you've taken from me? My son used to visit, laugh, live. Since you came, he's a stranger." Jenny's voice broke. "I never wanted to take him. I just wanted to be part of your family." "Then why didn't you leave when I begged you to?" "Because I love him," Jenny cried. "Isn't that enough?" "Love fades," Sanaa said bitterly. "Shame doesn't." "Stop it," Sumit yelled. "You're tearing us apart." Sanaa's voice dropped, cold and final. "If you walk out that door, don't come back. I'll consider you dead to me." The room went quiet. Sumit closed his eyes, tears falling down his cheeks. "If that's what you want, then goodbye, Ma." He turned to his father. "Papa?" Anil looked down. "I don't agree with her, but I can't change her. Just be happy, son." Sumit nodded, his voice shaking. "I'll always love you both." Jenny looked at Sanaa, crying. "I never wanted to take your son, only to love him." But Sanaa turned away. Her silence was louder than any word. Sumit took Jenny's hand. Together, they walked to the door. Sometimes love doesn't need words, because words don't help anymore. As the door shut behind him, Sumit felt years of pain fall away. He wasn't just leaving a home. He was leaving his roots, his past, and his mother's love. But beside him stood Jenny, the woman who stayed even through it all. And that somehow was enough. "I'm sorry it ended like this," Jenny whispered. Sumit shook his head. "Maybe this is how it was always meant to be. Sometimes you have to let go fully to begin again." He looked back one last time. "We came here trying to prove our love. Now we're leaving knowing what it truly means." Jenny smiled through her tears. "Are you ready?" For the first time, he said, "Yes." Sumit didn't answer. His eyes were far away, lost somewhere between guilt and fear. Sumit, she said softly, walking closer. Talk to me. He sighed and finally put the passport down. I keep thinking about Ma, about how I just walked away. Jenny sat beside him, gently placing her hand on his shoulder. You didn't walk away, Sumit. You survived. You did what you had to do. Sumit shook his head. You don't understand. In India, a son leaving his mother like this, it's like dying twice. Once in her heart and once in his own. Jenny's eyes softened. And what about me? I've been dying a little every day in this country trying to prove I belong. Her voice cracked as she continued. You fought for your family, Sumit. I fought for you. He looked at her, guilt written all over his face. I know, and I'm grateful for everything you've done. I just can't stop feeling like I'm betraying someone. No matter what choice we make, even when bridges burn, our hearts still hope for peace. And in that quiet space between pride and longing, regret begins to grow. Jenny stood in the doorway. Are you calling her? Sumit hesitated. I just want to hear her voice one more time. Jenny's voice softened. And what if she doesn't answer? He smiled sadly. Then at least I tried. He pressed call. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times, then stopped. No answer. Sumit lowered the phone, his face empty. She blocked me. Jenny walked forward and hugged him tightly. Then let her go, Sumit. You can't heal if you keep reopening the wound. The consultant said. Everything's approved. Your permanent residency paperwork is in order, and your flight to Toronto is confirmed for next week. Jenny gave a faint smile. Thank you so much. Sumit gave a polite nod, but his eyes were still far away. Outside the office, Jenny noticed his silence. You should be happy, Sumit. We're finally leaving all this behind. He let out a slow breath. It doesn't feel like happiness yet. It feels like an ending. Jenny looked at him. That's because it is an ending, but it's also the beginning of something new. He gave a small nod, not saying anything. He got up quietly and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. His reflection stared back. It was the face of a man stuck between love and loyalty. Every decision that brings peace to one heart can break another. For Sumit Singh, peace had never felt so heavy. The next morning, Jenny found him on the balcony again, sipping tea. Did you sleep at all? Not really, he said. I kept thinking about the last time I saw Ma. The way she looked at me, like I was a stranger. I can't forget that. Jenny sat beside him. I know it hurts, but remember what she said to you. You're no longer my son. You can't keep chasing love from someone who's already stopped giving it. Sumit stared into his cup. She's still my mother, Jenny. I can't hate her no matter what she's done. Jenny nodded gently. You don't have to hate her. But this time, you have to choose yourself. Choose us. Her voice trembled a little. I've stood by you through humiliation, through gossip, through every lie they told about me. I never asked you to choose me over your family. But now, I need to know you will. Sumit looked at her, his eyes full of tears. I already did, Jenny. The moment I said yes to leaving India, I chose you. She held his hand, squeezing it. Then hold on to that. The image faded back to the present. Sumit wiped away tears as Jenny packed the last suitcase. The hardest part of moving forward isn't letting go of the past. It's learning how to live with what it leaves behind. The agent said, once you sign here, the house officially belongs to the buyer. Funds will be sent to your Canadian account in 48 hours. Sumit paused before signing. It feels strange, like I'm erasing everything that ever happened here. Jenny placed her hand over his. You're not erasing it, Sumit. You're setting it free. He smiled faintly and signed the papers. Jenny lit a small candle near the window, whispering a quiet prayer. For peace, for strength, for a new beginning. Sumit stood next to her, holding her hand. Together, they watched the candle flicker, a small flame in a world that had tried to put them out. Love isn't about escaping the world. It's about finding the strength to rebuild it, together. Even though Sumit's heart still ached for the family he left, he was beginning to understand something deeper. Jenny wasn't the cause of his pain. She was the reason he could survive it. Sumit, Jenny said, next week, we'll wake up somewhere new. Somewhere we can finally breathe. He smiled faintly. Together. As night fell, so did their doubts. The road ahead was unclear, but one thing was certain: love had survived the fire. And now it was ready to rise again. Some journeys start with excitement, others start with pain. For Jenny Sladden and Sumit Singh, leaving India wasn't just moving to a new place. It was saying goodbye to everything they had once fought so hard for.